Tonight on WBOC News at 11.
A deal is now reached in Washington. A little more than a half hour ago, lawmakers voted to reopen the government and raise the debt ceiling. How Delmarva congressional leaders are reacting.
And a series of burglaries have people talking in Mardella Springs. Police are looking for your help to find who's responsible.
Tomorrow will be just as mild as today, but a cool down is coming, and a pretty significant one at that. I'll have an update for you in just a few minutes.
Now, WBOC News at 11, Delmarva's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Alice Bavis.
And I'm Paul Butler. This is WBOC News at 11. Well, after a 16-day partial government shutdown is set to reopen, the government is. The vote came down just about an hour ago from the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, the House passes the deal 285 to 144. Now, here's a timeline of today's events. Around 8:30 tonight, the Senate passed the deal 81 to 18 to reopen the government and raise the debt ceiling. Around 4 o'clock, House Speaker Boehner and House Republicans said they would let the House vote on the bill. And early in the afternoon, the deal proposed by House Majority Leader Harry Reid and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell was announced by Representative Reid at the start of the Senate's session. Now, the bill would reopen the government through January 15th and extend the U.S. Treasury borrowing at least through February 7th in Washington.
Now, earlier tonight, after the Senate vote, President Obama made a brief statement thanking Democratic and Republican leaders for passing a deal.
CBS's Daniel Nottingham is on Capitol Hill with the latest.
The bill is reported as is passed.
The Senate vote to end the government stalemate means once again the U.S. is only a House vote away from a fully functioning government.
There's a lot of work ahead of us, including our need to earn back the trust of the American people that's been lost over the last few weeks.
Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's deal funds the government for 3 months, raises the debt ceiling for 4 months, initiates immediate talks on reducing the debt, and adds a token anti-fraud measure to the Affordable Care Act.
This is far less than many of us had hoped for, frankly, but it's far better than what some had sought.
The agreement means more than 300,000 furloughed workers can return to their jobs, but it only sets up more showdowns in the new year. The deal cleared a hurdle when Texas Tea Party Republican Senator Ted Cruz said he would not block a vote. Cruz spearheaded the effort to shut down the government unless the Affordable Care Act was defunded.
There's nothing to be gained from delaying this vote 1 day or 2 days. The outcome will be the same.
With billions lost during the 16-day shutdown and more deadlines a few months away, Congress must now make sure those outcomes are different. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Wall Street analysts warn of the impact of the government shutdown has had. Standard & Poor's estimates the partial government shutdown has had a $24 billion impact on the U.S. economy. Now, just a few minutes ago, I spoke with Republican Representative Andy Harris, who represents all the counties on Maryland's Eastern Shore. He voted against the deal that was passed tonight, and earlier told us why.
Well, you know, I couldn't vote for the deal in the end because it really just kicks the can down the road a couple of months. It doesn't really deal with the basic issues of our debt and our deficit. It certainly doesn't deal with the problems with the Affordable Care Act. So it really made no progress. It just kicked the can down the road, only to be dealt with, on another day. In the short term, we had to avert this debt crisis. But in the long term, we've done nothing to prevent even a more serious crisis in the future, because we've just raised our debt by about $800 billion by this vote. We've brought our debt now to about $17.5 trillion with this vote, and done nothing to address the underlying deficits that are going to increase over the years to make the future debts even worse.
That was Representative Andy Harris. Delaware Congressman John Carney also weighed in, making this statement. Tonight, the reasonable voices in Congress prevailed. This bipartisan agreement will reopen the government and protect America's credit. This is good news. It means hundreds of thousands of federal employees can get back to work and America will pay its debts. Over the next few months, Congress will again face deadlines on these crucial fiscal issues. Meeting these deadlines will require working with others with whom we disagree. Above all, it will require reasonable solutions and the type of political courage that's been sadly absent in this Congress. Also earlier today, Maryland Senator Barbara Mikulski had this to say.
Here at the Capitol, there's a real sense of relief that we're actually going to reopen government and we're actually have the United States of America pay its bills. America is a middle-of-the-road country, and it wants its elected officials to be middle of the road.
Again, the House and Senate have both passed a deal to reopen the government and raise the debt ceiling. The bill now heads to President Obama for signature, and earlier tonight he said he would sign the bill immediately.
Some people are breathing a sigh of relief tonight are those, of course, on Social Security. Social Security Administration informed people that their benefits could have been delayed if the debt ceiling did not get raised. Some seniors were hoping for something positive to come out of Washington.
Sometimes a bad thing has to happen before something good come along. And no one wants to be to blame for something happening bad that's going to affect everyone.
Now, according to a state report, Social Security provided benefits to more than 182,000 Delawareans in 2012.
And no surprise, many people will be keeping an eye on the stock market tomorrow. Experts believe a deal will have a positive impact on investors and restore consumer confidence. If a default did occur, though, it would have had a negative impact on long-term investments, really 401ks, IRAs, and the economy as a whole.
Would you believe that you have, and then you look there the next day and it's gone? You don't know when it's going to recover. There's certainly concerns. That means you're going to cut back on spending. Okay, you're going to have to look at what you're going to cut back. That actually hurts the economy even more, because then people say, well, I can't spend right now.
And Welsh went on to say a loss in investments would cause people to cut back on spending and save more, which would be another negative impact, as he said, on the U.S. economy.
And meanwhile, the deal, of course, to avoid the default is good news for millions of Americans who will start their holiday shopping in just the next few weeks. Now, financial experts say credit card interest rates would have increased in the event of a debt default. That means people would have paid more for all new and existing debt on their credit cards. However, a deal in Washington would mean those rates would not go up.
Well, the 16-day shutdown delayed mortgage closures all across the country. Several key government agencies that give home loans have been functioning with scaled-back staff during the shutdown. Realtors in Delaware say if things didn't start looking up in Washington, they'd expect many would-be homeowners would actually walk away from homes that they had once tried to buy.
Well, it's a cloudy night out there on the cool side, but all in all, it was an unusually mild October day across Delmarva. See where that cool front is? Just coming through into western Pennsylvania and also into parts of West Virginia. It is moving in our direction. It will come through tomorrow evening. Probably not that much rain with it, a few spotty showers, but it will start our temperature trend in a downward direction, and that downward direction is likely to continue for a while. 61 in Dover right now, Salisbury at 64. Tomorrow, a warm day again, 73 at noon, maybe a spotty evening shower. 76 is possible in a few spots tomorrow afternoon. And if you like the warm weather, you better enjoy it. Wait till you see what later next week will bring. We'll tell you about that in a few.
Back here at home, police are asking for your help tonight to solve a spree of burglaries in one Delmarva town. Just over 300 people live in Mardella Springs, so it has been really the talk of the town. WBOC's Evan Koslov joins us in the Newsplex. And Evan, through some new photos, police hope they can find the person responsible.
Yeah, and Alice, behind me you can see that photo that you were talking about. It's right there. But at this point, they do not have a name. And they're hoping that someone out there, maybe one of you at home, knows who he is. And that would be good news for the neighbors who live on Athol Road in Mardella, who say it would be a big relief to find the person who is breaking into these homes.
In the normally quiet town of Mardella Springs, Jerry Marshall admires his garden in front of the place he's called home for nearly a decade.
Mardella's a small town. Everybody knows everybody, and everybody looks out for everybody.
But now he's feeling a little less safe than before as Maryland State Police look for this man. Grainy video surveillance shows a man suspected to be responsible for a string of burglaries on Athol Road. That man, who has tattoos on both sides of his neck, drove what police say is either a dark green or a black Jeep Compass. Police believe that he was scoping out homes.
For years, everybody trusts everybody. Everybody knows everybody just about by first name. And grew up together, went to school together. And it's really a shock to the community.
Marshall lives just a couple houses down from where the burglaries happened, and so he says he's glad he's got ADT, something to protect his house, so he's not just another statistic.
It's just a plain Jane country town.
That was John Lane. He's another neighbor who lives down the street from the homes that were burglarized.
The type of place that you wouldn't think they'd have any type of burglary or, drug problem or anything else. But I guess there's just enough people out there that are hard up for money, hard up for anything that they can get, that they can sell or whatever.
For now, neighbors are keeping their doors closed and their eyes open, hoping to bring an end to these burglaries in Mardella Springs.
Now, just as a reminder, the car seen in that photo was a dark green or a black Jeep Compass. That's according to the police. And investigators say that that car is missing a right hubcap, has a sunroof, and displays a sticker on the left rear of the vehicle. All of these are things to keep your eyes open for in Wicomico County. Back to you guys.
Evan Kozloff, thank you. Now, if you have any information on these burglaries or if you recognize the man in the photos, police are asking you to contact the Wicomico Bureau of Investigation. There's their number, 410-548-4898, or you can call Crime Solvers at 410-548-1776.
Police say they've caught the man they believe to be behind multiple armed robberies in Wicomico County. Now, after a high-speed car chase and a brief foot chase last night, Salisbury police arrested this man, 42-year-old Reuben Collins of Salisbury. Investigators at the Wicomico Bureau of Investigation say they believe Collins is behind the 2 armed robberies that happened Monday morning, including the one at the Vintage Beverage on Snow Hill Road. Now, Collins faces several charges, including resisting arrest and 2 counts of armed robbery in Wicomico County. Imagine being treated by a doctor who isn't qualified. Well, that's the case in one doctor's office in Queen Anne's County. This woman, 36-year-old Shauna Gunter, is charged with not having a medical license. Court documents state Gunter says she wrote false information in her paperwork to get the job, which netted her a $23,000 raise. Gunter is due in court on November 14th in Queen Anne's County.
Well, Worcester County is taking in premature business and using a business incubator to get them off the ground. Inside of this building is Worcester County's first small business incubator. It sits on Broad Street in Pocomoke City. The new businesses will get a low-cost place to spread their wings and mentoring from experts on accounting, planning, manufacturing, and sales. Some business owners say starting a business isn't easy.
I would say 75% of them, they're really going to struggle the first year and probably not make it.
Worcester County Economic Development will search for tenants to occupy the space and handle the leasing in Pocomoke City.
Talks about what to do with some parking lots in downtown Salisbury has been going on for quite a while. Now, the city is working on plans to turn 6 lots into a live and work mixed-use development. That includes 1 lot at the Plaza downtown. City Council President Jake Day says the plan is to add retail stores, restaurants, apartments, and even parks.
This is a priority for us. So we're going to get these off of our hands. We're going to get these into the marketplace. So we're going to see vibrant economic development. There's really no excuse anymore.
Now, Day says no taxpayer money will be used if and when the plan moves forward in Salisbury.
Making headlines tonight, rising Democratic star Cory Booker won a special election to represent New Jersey in the U.S. Senate. The Newark mayor defeated Republican Steve Lonigan today in an abbreviated campaign. Booker has a national following for his consensus building. Booker is the first black senator from New Jersey, filling the seat left vacant in the death of Senator Frank Lautenberg.
Representatives from Iran and 6 world powers held their second day of talks today over the nuclear program in Tehran. Both sides struck an optimistic tone. Now, EU officials praised Iran for offering a new plan to bring the uranium program in line with international standards.
Building on the positive atmosphere of the first ministerial meeting held in New York on the 26th of September, the Foreign Minister of the Islamic Republic of Iran presented an outline of a plan as a proposed basis for negotiation, which is being carefully considered by the E3+3 as an important contribution. It was decided.
Now, the exact details of Iran's proposed plan are being kept confidential. Iran has long said its nuclear energy pursuits are peaceful, and it wants the international community to recognize them as such.
Coming up on WBOC News at 11, a hospital